is that they know full well that the Bible is bullshit, and they're just pretending. They're lying to us. They're lying to us about what it means. They're lying to us about what's in it. And when we point out what's in it, then they have a lie around that. So I don't know. I just wish my friends, starting at the top left, middle of the top, would just stop lying all the time. Like, the God is not. There is no God. He didn't create the world, and he doesn't kill children. It's all just a made-up, weird cosplay fantasy. And the sooner you stop lying to yourself and others about it, the better your brain can clear up and can heal. It's like you can stop with all the wounds that you're creating in your head, and you can just start to see the world as it is, which, by the way, is a pretty amazing, awesome place. It doesn't need child sacrifice to make it better. Anyway, I agree, Scott. The Democrats, if they want to win elections, they have to turn around two things: exporting jobs and importing Islam.
Well, what's interesting, though, Benjamin, then we'll move on to another speaker. But, the New York primary showed that, wow. You've got somebody that is pretty far left and a pretty explicit anti-Semite. Has called for the expansion of the global intifada, and he won a primary in the biggest city in the country. So, wow, I don't know what that means for the Democratic Party. But
yeah, the Democratic Party is probably going to lose in New York, which it should do. I would support them losing.
I don't know that he'll lose. I do not know that he'll lose in the general election. I do not know that.
We'll see. I certainly am not going to send him $1. Look, I don't want somebody who promotes a religion where if you leave that religion, you get killed. Making rules for other people. I just don't think that's not a good start. That's not a good start.
Benjamin, thank you as always. You're incredibly interesting, and I hope you get
gentle
to go.
and gentle.
You are. You're gentle and genteel. Let's go over to Ben. Ben, my dear friend, would you like a fresh five? Welcome to the stage. What's on your mind?
Hi, Scott. Hi, Steve, and everyone else in the room. I hope you guys are having a good weekend. What's on my mind? I think I just came in, so looking at the article, Supreme Court in birthright case limits judges' power to block. Yeah, I guess I'll say a few words about that. That's what we've been talking about for the past couple of days, rather past one day, basically, and also this. I guess I'll touch upon a little bit about the conversation you guys are having. I'll start by first saying I think you played the Bill Maher thing. I think what I want to say to that is politics. There's liberals, there's conservatives, Republicans, Democrats, whatever you have it. Basically, right now, it's kind of politics and physics, they're different, but I think there's some similarities. When there's action, there's reaction. And the harder the action is, the harder the reaction is. So I think, in other words, I don't think politics can escape the laws of physics even in that regard. When one party goes to the extreme right, the other party tends to go to the extreme left. And I don't mean party, I mean voters, really. So in some ways, even though the left and the right, partisan-wise, they seems to be very, very different, if not the opposite. But I think they actually fulfill each other or complete each other. What I mean is this. I don't think it's just isolated event. Whenever you see a policy in one extreme, I think you're going to get to see a policy in another extreme and another political cycle. And that to me is really very unfortunate and even sad, actually.
Ben, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'll tell you who's in agreement with you here is John Meacham, who recently said on the Daily Show that he thinks President Donald Trump and his overreaching in actions will lead to the presidency of AOC or somebody in her.
Right, and absolutely. I was also I'm basically playing a shrink here, if you will, for fun in Uncle Steve's room. I can BS.
Well, you can be a shrink here because half the people in this room are crazy, so that's great.
No, I'm crazier. Please, if they're crazy, I'm crazier. But what I'm saying is that, during the last election cycle, right, in November, I have heard some of the reasons where moderates and even Democrat, they're like, we can't vote for Kamala Harris because of, we don't want this to be so politically woke. We don't like the policy of guys using girls' bathrooms. The some minorities are getting too many rights, et cetera. We want it to be more fair, if you will, some more rational, reasonable. So certainly, there are some points that you don't like one particular candidate, right? So you naturally go to the other candidate. And I think what they failed to do was to look at the other candidate, which certainly does not advocate for some of the points that they do not like.
Where that foods can be cultural. Oh wow, you're going to be educated today. Yes, foods can be cultural, right? Just like you grow certain things, or if somebody was from Boston, like clam chowder and all that, you know what? That's a part of their culture. Were you not aware of that? It's still culture, right? Foods are culture. So yeah, all of that, right? Even from the way that we did our hair during the summers, I would get my hair braided like a young Venus and Serena when they were first on the tennis circuit, right? So I would have the little beads in my hair, and that's something that we would do, right? So a lot of these things, even from like church clothes, right? Like everybody remembers wearing your church clothes on a Sunday. Even jumping the broom is part of Black culture. We're not even going to talk about the language of like the Gullah Geechee, who literally had their own Bible, right? In their own language in that part. Those are subcultures, by the way, Anthony. The Gullah Geechee, the Creole, those are subcultures of Black culture because they're subsets, not the main Black culture. Black culture is also me going into my stylist this morning like I did and giving her a hug and having a whole conversation about her families and me buying her.
At least in my circle, that's some of the problems that I'm seeing. And the New York, the Manhattan, Mandani, that's his name. I think it's a good example. It's sort of an example or evidence, sort of not proving, them pointing to my quote unquote little theory there. So what do we do here? I mean, again, I'll just say a few more words on this birthright thing. Not birthright, excuse me. This it's really about universal injunction. It's not about birthright. The case that came out yesterday. I think this case is another stone in the pathway, another paver in the pathway, starting from immunity, presidential immunity, starting from the BBB case, where legislation where there's a little provision inserted in there about neither the budget nor the taxes, nothing about financial. It's about